Hello everyone, this workshop is on collaborative feedback loops with FigJam, Adobe Express, and Google Notebook LM. In this workshop, we explored how digital tools can move beyond content delivery and instead create structured collaborative learning environments. Today's recap highlights how Google Notebook LM, FigJam, and Adobe Express connect into one intentional feedback loop. Your facilitators for this workshop and video are Ms. Zaire McPherson and Mr. Darian Robinson. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to explain how Google Notebook LM supports instructional modeling and content clarification, use FigJam for collaborative mind mapping and structured peer critique, create visually structured and accessible classroom materials using Adobe Express, connect explanation, organization, creation, feedback, and reflection to one cohesive workflow. Identify at least one way to apply this digital collaboration model in your own courses. The objectives for this video: use Google Notebook LM to model lesson explanations, use FigJam for mind mapping and collaborative feedback, design accessible materials in Adobe Express, and connect these tools into one structured learning workflow. The problem we're solving: many classrooms struggle with unclear assignment structure, disconnected submissions, and limited student-to-student interaction. This workflow focuses on designing a system that makes thinking visible and feedback structured. The workflow overview. Instead of using tools separately, we created a connected workflow. To clarify content using Google Notebook LM, then visually organize it in FigJam. Also use FigJam for collaborative critique and reflection. And finally, use Adobe Express for assignment structured videos. What is Google Notebook LM? Google Notebook LM helps instructors model content explanation. In this session, it was used to generate summaries and structured notes that clarify complex topics before students begin collaborating. This is an example of how Google Notebook LM looks. Google Notebook LM is used to summarize key concepts, generate guiding questions, provide structured explanation, and support video-based instruction. So what is FigJam? FigJam functioned as a shared studio wall. It allowed participants to brainstorm ideas, upload work, annotate peer projects, and engage in structured critiques without relying solely on live presentation. Participants use FigJam to create mind maps based on Notebook LM summaries. This step made thinking visible and allows students to visually connect ideas before creating final projects. And this is an example of a mind map that was created in FigJam. FigJam structured feedback boards creates uploaded areas, peer comment section, and reflection section, and also you can use it for revision notes. So these are examples of a FigJam template where you can enter in student names, and students have organized sheets that they can insert their information, as well as an instructor feedback and next steps section. So what is Adobe Express? Adobe Express was used to transform ideas into structured, visually clear assignment materials and student projects. Adobe Express is really great for taking text-heavy assignment sheets and creating something that is very visually compelling. So this is an example of a text-heavy assignment sheet. And this is an example of a graphic assignment sheet. So in this workshop, we looked at redesigning traditional text-heavy assignments into visually structured materials. The goal was clarity, accessibility, and engagement, not just decoration. So, thinking about how accessibility matters: high contrast, readable fonts, clear hierarchy, and then alt text. So, these are just some do's and don'ts for accessible classroom graphics. So, for example, high contrast text, sans serif fonts for clarity, using large fonts, adding alt text to images, short descriptions for screen reader accessibility. And some don'ts are: don't use red or green combos, don't use really tiny text, don't overload with fonts, and don't overcrowd the page, and don't use decorative fonts for body text. So, the complete learning cycle: to explain, organize, create, critique, and reflect. So, the strength of this workshop was not the tools individually. In this loop, students receive clarification, organize thinking, create intentionally, receive structured critique, and reflect on revisions. So, why this model works? This model increases transparency in learning. Students can see expectations, see peer work, and see their growth over time. 3 key takeaways: design structure strength learning, guided collaborative deepening engagement, connected tools create meaningful feedback loops. And thank you for joining this recap video. I hope that you learned something using FigJam, Google Notebook LM, and Adobe Express. Thank you. If you have questions, please contact Zaire McPherson or Mr. Darian Robinson.